Hello everyone, this is part 18 of What If Naruto Was the Hollow God, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Black Zetsu was worried. For a long time, his plans have been going fine. He has manipulated his way for centuries, in his quest to release his mother from her prison. He started with Asura and Indra, the two sons of the Sage of the Six Paths, and ever since, he has done whatever was necessary to release Kaguya. Ever since he managed to convince Madara Uchiha that he, Black Zetsu, is Madara's will, Madara has been on his way to enact the plan to activate Infinite Tsukuyomi, which would enslave every living being in the EN, and bring back Kaguya. Madara and Zetsu both knew that Madara won't be able to do it, as he was barely alive after his battle against Hashirama Senju, and spent years living off of Hashirama's cells. As such, they needed another one, who will do all the necessary job, and once the time is right, that person will have Madara revived, so that he can become the 10-tailed Jinchuriki, and activate the Infinite Tsukuyomi. That was Madara's plan, and for that plan he has Obito Uchiha pretty much brought to him. All that was needed, is to manipulate Obito into seeing the things the same way as Madara. Once Obito was manipulated enough, Madara would die and let Obito do everything, until it was time for Obito to revive Madara. Unfortunately for Madara, Black Zetsu was never his will, but Kaguya's. Zetsu never worked for Madara, but Kaguya, and Zetsu cares about Kaguya, not Madara. As such, Zetsu's plans with Madara only went as far as Madara becoming a 10-tails Jinchuriki, and activating the Infinite Tsukuyomi. After that, Zetsu would betray Madara and bring back Kaguya. Unfortunately for Zetsu, and it's the reason he is worried, centuries of planning are now in danger because of Naruto Uzumaki, who has somehow become something which is more powerful than even his own mother, and as such he is a threat to his plans to revive Kaguya, as Naruto is powerful enough to stop him. Of course, even if by some miracle, Zetsu manages to see his plans to the end, and the Infinite Tsukuyomi is activated, he isn't sure if that Genjutsu, as powerful as it is, would be able to trap someone like Naruto. If Naruto isn't trapped in the Infinite Tsukuyomi, then even if Kaguya is revived she wouldn't be able to defeat Naruto. Zetsu, as much as it pains him, is aware of that, and will admit it to himself, but no one else. Another problem for Zetsu is the fact that Obito has suddenly decided that he doesn't need Madara to activate the Infinite Tsukuyomi, and that he can do it himself. Technically, he is right, and Zetsu knows that. If Obito becomes the 10-tailed Jinchuriki, he will have the power and ability to activate the Infinite Tsukuyomi. The problem is that Madara is stronger than Obito, and it would be better to bring back Kaguya into Madara's body, instead of Obito's. Obito isn't aware that Zetsu knows of his plans, as Obito thinks that Zetsu is Madara's will, and he is sure that Zetsu won't be happy if he finds out that Obito doesn't plan to revive Madara. Of course, Zetsu is much better of a spy than Obito thinks, and he knows of Obito's plans. Unfortunately, Zetsu also knows that in a head-on battle, Obito would win, and he can only defeat Obito if he strikes him when Obito doesn't expect. Unfortunately, Zetsu is also aware that without Obito, his plans to bring back Kaguya would be set back for decades at best, centuries, at worst, and he isn't willing to take those chances, so he will have to do with Obito. Still, even if there was no problem with Obito, there is no way to go around Naruto, in case Naruto decides to intervene. For now, Naruto has decided to leave Obito alive, out of simple curiosity, but Zetsu isn't aware of how would Naruto react if he knew the true plan. Zetsu has no idea if Naruto would want to stop the plan before it's even close to complete, or would he let it happen just to satisfy his curiosity. Zetsu will just have to wait and see. For now though, Obito is about to proceed with the plans, by announcing the war against the 5 great nations, at the Cage Summit in just a week's time. XXX. Naruto is currently back in the New Whirlpool, and is in a meeting with Cielaporo and all of his closest friends and allies, except Sako. Tsuzumbachi is also there, along with Kyuki and Seraphal. The reason they are having a meeting is because they have heard that the 4th Raikage has called for a cage meeting, most likely to discuss the Akatsuki, and the fact that they now have 8, out of 9, tailed beasts. Even though the Akatsuki are half of their members short, they don't really need them that much now that they have 8 tailed beasts. Of course, no one knows that the Whirlpool country was rebuilt, so no one called them, and even if the other nations know of the new Whirlpool being built, Naruto doubts they would be called on the meeting, as they are not one of the 5 great nations, and only the Kage from the main 5 villages could attend the Kage meeting. Now, while the meeting of the 5 Kage is not important to the new Whirlpool, Naruto and the others are curious to know what will happen in that meeting and how would that affect the future as well as Naruto's plan to take over the EN. Naruto doubts that there would be many changes, and the most he expects is that the nations might form a temporary truce, in order to combat the Akatsuki. Why are we here? Tayuya asked the question, which was on the minds of most of the people in the room. Because of the 5 Kage meeting, which is to happen in a week. Naruto responded to Tayuya's question, making her look at him with raised eyebrows. Why do we care about that? She asked. We are not attending that meeting, and I doubt anything of real importance is going to happen at that meeting. We aren't attending the meeting, but the results of that meeting might affect us, Cielaporo said. The Akatsuki has acquired 8-tailed beasts, and as such are a big threat to the rest of the EN. We are the only ones safe, unless you count the countries led by the other blood clones. Still, that leaves a great deal of the EN threatened by the Akatsuki, especially the Great 5, and they might form an alliance to deal with the Akatsuki. If that is to happen, we need to know as soon as possible so that we can make plans on what to do, if we are going to do anything, that is. What do you mean? Sakura asked. Why wouldn't we do something in case the war between the Akatsuki and the rest of the EN starts? Why should we? Naruto asked back. If they kill each other it's better for us, as it would be less job and people to oppose us. The less people oppose us, the less we have to kill. But what about the innocent people? Kyuki asked. She trusts Naruto, but sometimes he is very hard to follow, as he is different than the rest of them, and he has no morals that the other people do. Kyuki has figured out a while back, that at this point in time, Naruto only cares about those close to him, those in his village, and taking over the EN. Those 3 things are the only things Naruto cares about, and he doesn't give a damn if majority of the EN is destroyed and many people die. They are not his people, so he doesn't care. Kyuki, though, has no idea that the current Naruto is infinitely better and milder compared to the Naruto from 3 years ago. That Naruto cared about no one, and only wanted revenge. So, as bad as she thinks that the current Naruto is, the old one was much worse. Naruto looked at Kyuki, and sighed. I know how you feel, Kyuki, but it's either we leave the Akatsuki and the rest of the EN, which is not on our side, to kill each other, or, we will have to kill a lot of people with our own hands. Which one do you prefer? I don't like any of the 2 ways, Kyuki said. Many innocent would die no matter which of those 2 paths we chose. Can't we come up with a third path? One which will lead to as little death as possible. I can't, Naruto said. If the rest of you can come up with something else, then I'm willing to listen. But in case none of you comes up with something, then we will simply let the war between the Akatsuki and the Great 5 go on, while we will wait and strike at the end. The others looked at each other, and few of them nodded. Those few, besides Kyuki, are those who think that they shouldn't just sit back and let innocent people die, and they also don't wish to kill innocent, if they can avoid it. They silently agreed to come up with a plan. Are there any news from your other blood clones? Taira asked. It's been a while since we heard from them. Yeah, Naruto said. They've been occupied with leading the countries to prosperity, and fending off the intruders from the other nations, who are afraid of the sudden progress few smaller countries have made, and are trying to take what is not theirs. Of them all, Grimjo and Neutra have the least job, as they have completely taken over the entire eastern part of the EN. Everything from the land of water toward the east is under their control, so unless the water or lightning countries attack them, they won't have any problems. Tyr in the sea country is having some problems with the water country, as they are trying to regain their power after the civil war, and want to take over the sea country as their own. Unfortunately for the water country, they don't have the power to go after sea country, as long as Tyr is leading the sea country. Ulquiorra and Coyote are having trouble with the earth country, who are attacking the bird and vegetable countries from time to time, but are unsuccessful. The problem there is that, Ulquiorra and Coyote can't strike back until it's time, and until then they will have to deal with earth countries' attacks, without going for the kill, so to say. We don't want to attract attention to the bird and vegetable countries because, as I said, it's not time yet. The only one left is my double in the river country. When he is not fending off bandits from the gold mine, he is enjoying his life with the harem he has made for himself. So, I guess he has no problems. He has also started to make plans for after the war, as I told him that I want him to leave the end to explore the rest of the world, and see what's out there. He is preparing along with his girls, as apparently, he doesn't want to leave them behind. Would you leave us behind? Tsunade suddenly interrupted Naruto. No, I wouldn't, he replied. Naruto's girls nodded with a smile. They are satisfied to know that Naruto wouldn't leave them behind. They then proceeded and talked about other things, among which is the talk about the construction of the palace in the new whirlpool. Then Naruto spoke about his conversation with the Great Red, when he went to the Mount Lookout, and finally, Kyuki talked about her own country, which has made some decisions to change some stuff and make it better for them. The construction of the palace is going great, Tsunade spoke. The main part, where you plan to live, is already built, along with the part where the Uzumaki clan compound will be. All that is left for those two parts to be completely finished, are some small stuff, and to be furnished. As for the guild hall and the academy, well, that still hasn't been started yet, but will be in the next few days. We agreed to build the entire place, and only then, to start furnishing it, Sakura continued from where Tsunade left. We figured that it would be much simpler to do it that way, and we won't have to deal with the noises from the construction, and with the workers going all over the place, all day long. I have seen the progress, but I can't tell how long it will take for the whole place to be built, Naruto spoke. Does any of you have any timetable, or something? Taya spoke. According to the workers, if the construction progresses at the current speed, then they will finish everything up to furnishing, in about 3 months. After that, all we need to do is find and buy the furniture for the living quarters, as well as all the necessary things for the academy, the guild hall and the Uzumaki compound. Satisfied with the answers, Naruto then spoke about what he talked about with the Great Red, and what have they agreed upon. The Great Red now knows that I have had a confrontation with the dragons who have defected the summoning land, and has told me to keep watch over everything unnatural that might happen. He said that he isn't sure how the dragons will react when they hear of Kaido's death, but he also said that if they do decide to retaliate, they will cause a lot of death and destruction, even if they are eventually taken out. He wants to face the leader of the traitor dragons, though. It seems that their leader is a dragon called Bahamut, and while he isn't as powerful as the Great Red, he is very close. The Great Red said that the two have always had problems with each other, mostly because Bahamut always wished to be the strongest and to lead the Dragon Clan, but the Great Red was stronger, and as such, Bahamut couldn't do anything. The only reason why the Great Red never went after Bahamut after the defection of Bahamut and the other dragons, is because their battle will cause an untold amount of damage, which will draw the attention of everyone in the EN. That won't be a good thing, as the humans would most definitely turn against the dragons, and even start a war, which they can't win. As such, the Great Red decided to simply leave Bahamut and the other dragons alone, and didn't care what they do, as long as they don't go around the EN, causing death and destruction. Now though, the Great Red told me that in the event that Bahamut and the other dragons come after me, then I'm to summon him, as he wishes to be the one who will put down Bahamut, once and for all. As for the other dragons on Bahamut's side, I can do with them whatever I want, as the Great Red stopped caring about them the moment they left the Mount Lookout. Then came Kyuki's turn, and she spoke of her own country, and how while the Spring Country is very vast, it's basically an archipelago, and is not easy to go from one place to the other. On top of that, while it was called the Snow Country and was covered in snow, most of the land was unused, and the settlements were very close to one another. Now though, with the change of the climate, thanks to the generator, the temperature is perfect for the raising of the livestock and the agriculture. So, Kyuki has decided to make small villages on many of the islands on the archipelago, with the people moving there to live and to work. With Naruto's help, they also agreed that some people who came to live in the new whirlpool will also move to the Spring Country, so that they can work as fishermen, as well as workers in ore mines. Once that was all agreed upon, and since there was nothing left to talk about, for now, many left the room, while Kyuki and Seraphal, along with Suzumbachi, expressed desire to have some fun with Naruto, as it has been a while. Surprisingly, Cielaporo ended up joining them, as he is Naruto, even though he is under the transformation jutsu, and none of the three girls or the original Naruto had a problem with Cielaporo joining them. It has been several weeks since the meeting of Naruto and his closest friends and allies, and the talk about the incoming 5-Cage Summit. For the past weeks, Naruto has spent his time helping others in his village to train themselves and become stronger. He has helped those who have hollow powers, but also those who don't have them, those being Gurren, Konan, Yamato and Sasum, along with the several Uzumaki clan members. The training has started a day after the meeting, and Naruto, who was currently seating on the hill, overlooking the new Whirlpool village, had to admit that he was surprised but at the same time satisfied with how much everyone has progressed, especially those who have hollow powers. There is no point in talking too much about Tayuya and Taya. The two are still stronger than any other human, hollow hybrid, with Sako and Tsunade being the closest, but still a bit far from the first two girls who joined Naruto in his quest. Tayuya actually doesn't have a hollow form, and she was always at her full power, and is only keeping it in check. Her special ability allows her to manipulate the minds of the others. Read them, rewrite them, and even make others see what she wants them to see. It is basically an advanced version of Aizen's Kyoka Sugetsu. As such, Naruto wasn't too fond of her powers from the very start, so, Tayuya has had to train a lot in learning how to control her powers, and to not let herself fall under the control of her own powers, as she knew that as much as Naruto loves her, he will kill her if she slips. Because of that, she has trained more than anyone else and is the reason behind her being the strongest of Naruto's girls. When it comes to Taya, her power over lightning and thunder has gone through the roof, to the point that she can control all forms of electricity, including bioelectricity. She is immune to electricity, and can negate or absorb the power from the electrical attacks. She has developed an ability to consume the electricity by eating it, and by doing that, she can gain energy. Taya, unlike Tayuya, does have a hollow form, in which she doesn't change physically, except the fact that a hollow hole opens in the middle of her stomach, and she gets surrounded in black and white, electrical aura. Once she does that, she is virtually invincible, because she is so fast that most attacks can't even hit her, and those that actually do hit her are negated because her electrical aura is strong enough to destroy everything coming at her. So far, only Naruto and Tayuya have been able to get past Taya's electrical aura. Naruto by overpowering it, and Tayuya by going around it, as Tayuya's powers are mostly not physical, but mental, and Taya still has no defenses against that, though she is capable of preventing Tayuya from controlling her, by controlling her own brain with her own bioelectricity. At her full power, she is fast enough to warp reality, and appear to be in several places at once, though she technically isn't. She is simply moving so fast that she seems to be in more than one place at the same time. Tsuzumbachi, formerly of the Kamizuru clan of the Earth Country, and now of the Uzumaki clan of the New Whirlpool, is the third girl who joined Naruto on his quest, though she isn't the third strongest. Unlike Taya, who is a head-on fighter, and Tayuya, who is more like seating behind type of fighter, who only looks at her opponent, and they mostly fall apart. Tsuzumbachi is more like Tayuya than Taya in her fighting style, and that was because of her special power, which she gained after she became human, hollow hybrid. Tsuzumbachi's power allows her to create, summon, command, speak, understand, evolve, devolve, merge with, possess, etc. with all forms of animal life. Because of her power, she didn't train too much, except with the regular hollow techniques, so when she does fight, she does that by summoning animals, and then using them to fight instead of her. Her power in animal creation is only limited by her imagination, so she can pretty much create anything, as long as it can be classified as an animal, even if it's an extinct one, or the one which only exists in myths. Still, even though she prefers not to fight head-on, she is no slouch in hand-to-hand combat, and is strong as hell. Definitely stronger than any of the Kage in the history of the EN, and is considerably stronger than even the tailed beasts. But, when it comes to the other hybrids, she is in the lower half in terms of power. When it comes to her powers, Tsuzumbachi actually has a hollow form, but she isn't very fond of it. Her hollow form makes her into some sort of human, bee-like hybrid, with wings at her back, 5 eyes, and a hollow hole where her heart should be. Tsuzumbachi used to be a member of the Kamizuru clan, and is now its last member, though since she renounced her name, the Kamizuru clan will most likely die with her, as her children won't carry that name. When she was Kamizuru, she had a summoning contract for bees, and had a great connection to them. She liked them a lot, and they liked and respected her. She thinks that her hollow form is because of that connection she used to have to the bee clan, but while she likes bees, and still has a lot of respect and love for the clan, even though she doesn't use them any longer, she isn't happy with the fact that her hollow form makes her look so ridiculous, in her opinion. So, since she doesn't like her hollow form, though she likes her hollow powers, Suzumbachi has trained to be able to fight, without having to use her hollow form, in which, she is capable of using a type of poison so powerful that she can kill pretty much anyone. She could potentially be able to kill even Taiya and Taya, who are much stronger than her, though while she has a poison which can kill those two, she doesn't have the power to inject the poison into them, as their Hiro is too powerful, so she can't stub them, and making them ingest the poison, well, while possible, it's very hard to pull off. She can't kill Naruto, though, as he is pretty much immortal, and no poison would work on him. Then, there is Sako Busujima, or at least she used to be a Busujima. She has pretty much renounced her clan, just like Suzumbachi, and now has no last name, though she is definitely going to be an Uzumaki one day, if she has any say in it. Now, Taya is fast, that goes without saying, but Sako, she is in a league of her own. At her full speed, she is actually faster than Naruto, and is the only person in the world who has some type of power which goes beyond even Naruto. Sako's doesn't have a hollow form, but she doesn't need it, considering that her special power is velocity manipulation. It's much more than that, actually. Sako can manipulate the velocity of any moving object, the speed and direction an object is moving. She could simply move things around. By controlling their velocity, she could fly. Cancel objects' velocity, making it freeze where it is, even use velocity as a sort of force blast, blasting things away at high speeds. She can also manipulate her own speed with her powers, to the point that she can move faster than if she was teleporting. Sako doesn't know it yet as she still hasn't reached that level, but if she was to ever master her powers to its full extent, then she would be able to move so fast, that she could fly through open space without being bothered by the lack of air, or freezing cold. She could pass the distance between the Earth and the Sun, faster than it would take someone like the fourth Hokage to teleport himself from one place to the other, and Sako can actually do it, not by teleporting, but by flying, all that distance. At its ultimate level, her power could potentially allow her to make herself or any object gain so much speed, that they can slip several seconds forward or backwards in time. Isaribi Uzumaki. She was of no clan, and so she had no problem to take the Uzumaki clan name, once Naruto offered it to her. Of course, unlike many other girls around Naruto, who are interested in him, Isaribi isn't, but she did accept the last name, as it means that Naruto sees her as his cousin. Even before she became human, hollow hybrid, she had a high control over water as she was experimented on by Orochimaru and Amaki, who turned her into a human, sea creature hybrid. Becoming a part hollow, cured her of the creature part, but she kept her control over water manipulation, and it only increased since. Isaribi's water manipulation is similar to the ones Juvia and Tear have, though Tear can't breathe underwater, like Juvia and Isaribi can, while Isaribi and Tear can't turn into water, like Juvia can. Tear, though, has more destructive power behind her water manipulation, compared to the other two. As such, their powers are similar and different at the same time. There is one more thing that makes Isaribi's water different than the ones Juvia and Tear can use. As she was not a full human, but a part water creature before she became part hollow, Isaribi has, in a way, become a water deity after she became human, hollow hybrid, which allow her to control primordial water. Primordial water manipulation is Isaribi's true power, which she has thanks to being part water deity and part hollow. She is able to produce and manipulate large volumes of black water to submerge her surroundings and attack her opponents. This water is extremely deadly, as it is capable of dissolving anything it came into contact with. Its dissolving properties were powerful enough to wound even some of the other hybrids who live in the new whirlpool. This was proven during one of the many spars the hybrids have between each other. Finally, her hollow form is actually the same form she had when she was human, sea creature hybrid. Basically, what used to be her Kaima form, is now her full hollow form, with the only difference being a hollow hole on her right shoulder. Juvia Hozuki, unlike Isaribi, was a full human at the time of her human, hollow transformation. Her control over water is great even by her clan's standards. She is one of the few members of her clan who have water body ability, which allows her to completely turn her body into water. She is, though, the only one who can cause rain to fall, and is also the only member of the Hozuki clan who has awakened flood release, which is an advanced form of water manipulation. When it comes to her hollow powers, Juvia doesn't have a hollow form, but has a special power which, in a way, can be seen as complete opposite of Isaribi's. While Isaribi's water is primordial, and black, which can dissolve anything and is highly poisonous, Juvia's water is normal colored, but is holy water. Juvia can create, shape and manipulate holy water that's highly effective against the supernatural, such as demons, angels, gods, hollows. The effectiveness can range from trapping and or immobilizing to outright banishing or killing supernatural threats. Juvia's holy water can also be used for healing, and can heal almost anything, including near deaths. Full death is a limit, though. She can't revive dead people with her water. Juvia's holy water also has the same properties as the legendary Fountain of Youth. Those who drink or bathe in Juvia's holy water can regain their youth. Juvia, though, she will permanently remain in her teenage body, as her body is basically made from holy water, so she will never age, and will only die if she is killed. Technically speaking, all hollows are near ageless as they can live for thousands of years, and only age little, but they still do age. Juvia, though, she can live till the ends of time, and she will not age a single second. Then, there is Fu. She never had a last name, as she was an orphan back in the waterfall village, and she never knew her parents. Even after she joined Naruto, and after he offered her to carry an Uzumaki name, she refused as she didn't feel she was worthy of carrying a name of such a clan. Naruto didn't argue. It was her choice and he respected that, even though he didn't agree with her about not being worthy to carry the name. Fu was revived, and turned into a pure hollow, and not a hybrid. As such, she has a hollow hole and mask all the time. It is not known when she might gain full human form, or if she ever will, but she does have hollow powers, which she awakened sometime after she first became a hollow. Her hollow power is strength augmentation. It's pretty much like the power Tsunade has, only on a much greater level, as ridiculous as it sounds. Tsunade can only augment her own strength, but Fu's hollow powers allow her to do that, along with augmentation of speed and agility to an incredible levels. Overall, when it comes to the complete powers of all the hybrids and hollows who are working for Naruto, Fu is ranked somewhere in the middle, but she is still just a full hollow, and will become stronger when she evolves into a hybrid. But, when it comes to pure physical powers, she is the third strongest, behind Naruto and Tsunade, whose physical strength is overwhelming. Her powers were a big surprise for everyone once they saw them for the first time. They all thought that her hollow powers might have something to do with the tailed beasts that Fu carried in herself for almost her whole life, but they were wrong, and what she got was not what they expected. Still, Fu is happy with her powers, and since she is happy, the others are also happy for her. Fu is also close to Tsunade, since they are both physical fighters, unlike the others, who rely on skill and different techniques. The two of them spend a lot of time together, training with each other, with Tsunade helping Fu train, even though it is Fu, who was hollow, longer than Tsunade was. Tsunade is stronger, and more experienced, so she is better suited to train someone, while Fu has power, but lacks skills and finesse, not that she really needs it with all of her strength, but sometimes, physical powers won't be enough, and she will need something else. That something else, Fu is training with the other hybrids and Naruto, when he is the village and has time to help the others train. Sakura Haruno is still a full hollow, just like Fu. She isn't really fond of her form, and the fact that she looks the way she looks, but she is reasonable enough to accept the fact that it's better to be what she is, and look the way she looks, than to be dead. She is a hollow, and has all the power a regular high-level hollow has. She has learned, and nearly mastered all the techniques, from Bala and Sero, all the way to Hyro and Garganta. She doesn't have a sword, and is a hand-to-hand combatant. She still hasn't awakened her special powers, and no one knows what they will be, but if Naruto has to guess, it will be one of three things. Sakura will either have extremely high physical strength, she will be incredible at healing, or she will have some kind of hypnotic ability. Naruto is sure that Sakura will have one of these abilities, because she has always had great physical strength, even back when he was in the Leaf Village. She also had great chakra control, and would have been great medical ninja, or genjutsu master. As such, Naruto is sure that her hollow powers will represent her in some way, shape or form. Naruto has noticed that Sakura is spending a large amount of time training herself, more than anyone else, besides maybe Fu and Tayuya. He knows that that's because both Sakura and Fu want to grow stronger and hopefully become hybrids and gain full human forms. They are desperate for that, and while Naruto would love to help them, he can't, as that is beyond his power. Tsunade Senju has always been obsessed with being young. She isn't really afraid of death, or anything similar, but she is, in a way, afraid of looking old, weak, and ugly. That is the reason she has been using her powers to make herself look younger than she actually was, ever since she started to grow older and gain wrinkles. She has been over the moon when she was brought back to her senses by Naruto, who made her into a human, hollow hybrid and gave her one thing she always wanted: eternal youth. Coincidentally, her hollow powers represent her in a best way, just like most of the others who have awakened their hollow powers. Her hollow powers are quite simple. As she was always obsessed with her age, her power allows her to manipulate it. Tsunade has the power of age acceleration and age reversal. She can basically accelerate and reverse the age of any living thing. That means that she can turn a newborn baby into a fully grown adult, but she can also do it the other way, and make a fully grown man into a newborn baby. When she first found out what her power is and what she can do with it, she took Naruto to her bedroom and drained him of all of his bodily fluids, until he was just a dried up husk. She was that thankful to him for giving her that power, even though it wasn't Naruto who gave her that particular power, but she gained it because that power best represents who she is. Asuma and Yugito are the final two hybrids. In a way, the two's hollow powers are opposite of each other, just like Isaribi's and Juvia's are, where Juvia wields holy water, and Isaribi, primordial, more demonic type water. Here, Yugito uses the blue, hellfire flames, which she inherited from the Two Tails, and once she awakened her hollow powers, her hellfire manipulation became even stronger than the two-tailed cat used to wield. Asuma, though, he uses holy fire, which is the direct opposite of Yugito's flames. Naruto considers himself lucky to have people with such wide variety of abilities, and with some of the abilities being opposite of each other, which means that he has a counter for pretty much anything. As Naruto was seating on top of the hill, overlooking the new whirlpool, he finished reminiscing of his friend's powers, by reminding himself to see if there is someone else who wants to become a hybrid. He is sure that at least Seraphal will want to become one, though she never had a chance so far. He isn't sure about Kayuki, as she is not a fighter, and never was, so she will have to think hard on that. The rest are Sasum, Konan, Gurren and Yamato, who are still thinking about it. He knows that they are interested, but he also knows that if they accept, they will achieve partial immortality, and they are not sure if they want to live that long. Naruto also thought about himself and his powers. He was extremely powerful after he was fused back together, 3 years ago, but he didn't really know how powerful he truly was until he released his power against Kaido. He was very surprised, not just by his appearance, but also by how high his power was. Naruto was sure that at this point, he is nigh omnipotent, and he is also sure that Aizen and Ichigo are also considered to be high omnipotent. None of them are truly omnipotent, because they all have some sort of weakness, and or are missing something. In their case, they are all considered to be mortal, and unlike truly omnipotent beings, Naruto can't truly manipulate life and death to a full extent, only partly. It's why he can't revive dead people, unless he has their corpses intact, and unless their souls are still in the mortal world. Just like he is sure that he is nigh omnipotent, Naruto is also sure that the goddess, which fused him back together and sent him to this world, is truly omnipotent. Naruto wonders if he would one day achieve that level of power and skill. From there on, Naruto started thinking about some other events, which happened in the last few weeks. The Cage Summit has happened, and Naruto has learned that Danzo has tried to manipulate the other cage in some way, though he is not sure how. He has also learned that Tobi has arrived there, along with Sasuke, who has rejoined the Akatsuki, and they have declared war on the 5 great nations. Naruto, of course, wasn't really surprised by this development, as he was expecting Tobi to do it. He was surprised though that Danzo managed to get away from the Cage Summit without the other cage killing him, but he was not able to escape from Tobi and Sasuke, who managed to catch Danzo and his 2 guards, before they proceeded to battle them. Apparently, from what Naruto has learned from Sako, Danzo and his guards have been killed by Sasuke and Tobi, and Sasuke was able to get his revenge against Danzo, for what the old man has done to the Uchiha clan and Itachi. Though, Sasuke is still not fully happy, and he won't be until he kills the other Leaf Elders and completely destroys the Leaf Village. When they learned of Danzo's death, Naruto didn't really care that much, but Tsunade was pissed off as she wanted to be the one to kill him, not only for what he has done to Naruto, but for messing with her mind and causing her to snap and spend years in the asylum. In the end, she satisfied herself with the knowledge that the leaf is still standing, so there are others she can use for her revenge, at the top of the list being the remaining two elders. With the declaration of war, the other nations agreed to form a temporary truce and ally themselves to take on the Akatsuki. Once they take out Akatsuki, they can then go back to fighting and killing each other, like they always did. While the En are preparing for war, the life in the new whirlpool is as good as ever. Everything is peaceful, people are happy living in their new houses, businesses are starting, the construction of the palace is going great, and so there is simply no reason for anyone not to be happy. Naruto and his friends and family are all training themselves in order to be able to come out on top when the time comes, without losing anyone to the opposition. At this point, Naruto is sure that no hybrid or full hollow in his country can lose against anyone from outside of the new whirlpool. The majority of the Uzumaki clan members are also powerful enough to easily handle themselves, but there are few who can use the training to get stronger, and they are training every day in order to become powerful enough to be of use to Naruto and their country. Few other stuff that happened is that Naruto has changed his mind on what to do with Kaido's corpse. Originally, he planned to cut it up and have people of the new whirlpool consume it, but then he decided against it as Kaido's body, even dead, has power, and he isn't sure what would happen if regular humans eat it. He thought about if he himself and the other hybrids should consume it, but in the end, he wasn't interested, and the others didn't have interest either, so he decided to take the damn thing and give it to his blood clone in the river country. The blood clone learned of what happened, and what the original wants, so he shrugged, and said that he will consume Kaido. He said he will share it with his girls, as he knows that dragon meat doesn't appear on the table every day, and who knows when the next chance will appear. The last thing of important which happened, is that Naruto has felt a certain shift in nature, and while at that point he didn't know what it was, he found out very soon, when he got reverse summoned to the mount. Look out. There, Naruto found out that the change in nature is caused by the traitor dragons, who have decided to go up against Naruto and the rest of the dragon clan, and the change in nature is them affecting the nature by releasing their power, in order to alert Naruto and the dragon clan of what's coming. Naruto was surprised that the traitor dragons have decided to go up against him and the rest of the dragon clan, as they know perfectly well that they are outnumbered and overpowered, and yet, they have still decided to go up against Naruto and his summons. In the end, Naruto just shrugged, and said that if they come after him and his family, then they will only meet swift end. Naruto spent some more time looking at the village and cast some glances at his friends and family training, before he decided that it was the right time to go and do something he was planning for a while. Naruto stood up from the ground, and summoned a small dragon, before he informed it that he has some business to do in the summoning land, and needs to be reverse summoned. The dragon nodded, and then disappeared. Few moments later, Naruto disappeared as well. All over the 5 great nations, the shinobi and their leaders have been preparing for the war against the Akatsuki, ever since the word got out that Tobi is Madara Uchiha and that he along with the remaining members of the Akatsuki, as well as 8-tailed beasts, are declaring war on the En. Of course, the 5 great nations and their allies in the smaller nations have already been at war for a while now, so there was no need for some special preparations. The problem was that they are now not the enemies, but allies against the Akatsuki, and that is a big problem as the people from the 5 nations can't stand each other, and the mere thought that they are now allies, when up until few days ago they were enemies, made them want to rage in anger and send all to hell before they start fighting again. The Kage from the hidden villages had problem to convince their shinobi that this is necessary, as the Akatsuki is a threat to everyone. They said that after the Akatsuki is dealt with, they can get back to killing each other. At least, that's what the Kage from Wind, Earth and Lightning was saying. The Mizukage and the Water Country weren't at war, ever since the end of the civil war in that country, and as such the Mizukage didn't have a problem to convince her man to act nicely, and prepare for the war, though even she had to keep watch over some people who have bad history with the other villages, mainly the Earth Ninja. As for the last village, the Leaf Village, well, they are in deep shit. They were already severely weakened during the last 3 years, and now their Kage was killed, which has weakened them even more. When the word got back to the Leaf of Danzo's demise, many were angry, mostly the 2 elders and the civilian council along with Danzo's ROOT. The rest of the people in the village were elated as they didn't like Danzo and his ways even though they couldn't admit that. They all blamed Danzo for what happened to the village in the last 3 years, ever since Naruto's death. Of course, they also blamed Naruto, as they were sure that everything bad that happened is his fault, one way or another. Only few of the people who remained in the Leaf Village were both happy that Danzo is gone, and didn't blame Naruto for what happened to the village. With Danzo dead, the position of the Hokage was left empty, and not surprisingly there was no one who could sit on it, that had both the fighting power, and the power of persuasion, which is necessary in order to rule over a large amount of people. The ones who are closest to Kakashi and Guy, as they are the strongest shinobi left in the Leaf Village, but no one in their right mind would place Guy in the position of leading the village. As for Kakashi, well, he would most likely spend more time reading his perverted books, than do his job, which is why the village would suffer. Thus, no one wants him as a Hokage. Unfortunately for them, there isn't anyone else. Kage must be strong, and Kakashi and Guy are the two strongest shinobi in the village, and the only ones who could pose a threat to the other villages. So, one of them will have to become a Hokage. In the end, the village council and the daimyo chose Kakashi to become the Hokage, as they though he was a better option than Guy. Of course, the fact that Guy refused to be Hokage was left behind as no one wanted that information to be spread around the village. With Kakashi named the 7th Hokage, the meeting was set up between the Hokage, the elders, the civilian and shinobi council, as well as daimyo and his guardians. They all talked about the war against the Akatsuki, and Kakashi also brought out the fact that Naruto is not dead, and that he is the one who has caused the destruction a few weeks ago. Of course, everyone was scared as they knew that they betrayed Naruto and killed him, but he is now back from the dead, and coming after them. They all know, not that many of them would admit it though, that Naruto is much stronger than any of them, and is definitely bigger threat than even the for them. They have to focus on the Akatsuki, for now, and hope that Naruto will leave them alone until after the war. Then, they will see what they can do against him. The daimyo agreed to finance the war efforts, as he has no other choice, and knows that if the leaf falls, the Fire Country will be next, and he would lose everything. During the meeting, it was also revealed that the reason daimyo allowed Naruto to be killed is because he thought that if the Uzumaki clan goes extinct, the protections on the Whirlpool Country would fall and someone would be able to enter into it, and take whatever's inside. Unfortunately for him, and the others, Naruto was not the last Uzumaki. There are many others, and the Leaf didn't even know about half of them. In the end, even if Naruto stayed dead, the Leaf Village or anyone else would have ever gotten their hands on the valuables of the Whirlpool Country. XXX. While the 5 great nations were preparing for the war against the Akatsuki members were also preparing. Toby has killed off Orochimaru, as at that point Orochimaru was useless to him, and since he already hated the snake, it was no problem for him to dispose of him. From then on, Toby has had Kabuto perform reanimation jutsu, after reanimation jutsu, every time they visited some grave, and got their hands on the DNK from the residents of those graves. They were able to get their hands on the DNA samples from hundreds of former shinobi from all the hidden villages, and while many of them were failures as they were weak, there were quite a few who were famous and are strong. They will be perfect soldiers to be used against the alien shinobi, along with White Zetsu army, which counts to about 100,000 in number, giving the Akatsuki an extreme advantage in numbers. While Toby, Zetsu and Kabuto were busy gathering corpses for the war, Kisame and Sako were left to do whatever they wanted, as there was nothing Toby had for them to do. Kisame simply chose to train himself, but Sako decided to pay a visit to Naruto. She has finally had enough, and since she had free time she has decided to get what she wanted. And what she wanted was for Naruto to fuck her. To fuck her long and hard. It's unnecessary to say that she got what she wanted. XXX. Naruto was reverse summoned to the Mount Lookout, where he was met by a young-looking man in his 20s, with spiky black hair and large muscled body. Hello, Naruto, the man greeted Naruto, who greeted him back. I'm glad you are here. There is something I need to talk to you about. What is it? Naruto asked, with a curiosity on his face, as he has spoken to the Great Red just a few days ago, and he didn't know what the Dragon God would want again. I think I have discovered why Bahamut has decided to go against you and us, even though he knew he would lose. The Great Red said, getting raised eyebrows from Naruto, especially since the look on the Great Red's face looked serious and grave. It showed to Naruto that the Great Red is worried, and this interested Naruto, as he couldn't think of any reason for the Great Red to be worried. Well then, enlighten me. Naruto said. The Great Red sighed, and started to speak. You know, Bahamut and I have never seen eye to eye. I was always the stronger one, and he was always trying to surpass me ever since I became a leader of the Dragon Clan. He thought I don't deserve to lead the clan, so he wanted to take over, while I thought that he doesn't deserve it, and would run the whole clan into the ground or unnecessary war. There was only once that the two of us came to a mutual agreement. It was to defeat a common enemy. This caused Naruto raise his eyebrows, as he wondered who they could have possibly faced to need both the Great Red and Bahamut to defeat. It was an enemy who was much stronger than us, and was an evil that had to go, no matter the costs. So, Bahamut and I joined forces, and along with the entire Dragon Clan, we took on 3 beings, all dragons. Naruto's eyes widened. We weren't the only ones though. There was another person, a human, who joined us in taking out those 3 dragons. You see, Naruto, long ago, the gods themselves have created the first 3 dragons, and left them on this world. Those dragons are the ones who created the rest of us, so you can call them out parents. The thing is, all 3 of them were pure evil. They loved to battle, they loved control, and they loved power, while they despised weakness. Many of the dragons the 3 of them have created, have been killed and eaten by them, as they were deemed weak, talentless and undeserving of life. The dragon populations would have been twice as big if the 3 of them haven't killed a lot of the newborn hatchlings. One day, the rest of us have had enough. We could no longer watch our brothers and sisters be killed by our so-called parents, so we decided to take them out. But we knew that we wouldn't be able to kill them as they are much more powerful than us. Even though there was many of us, and only 3 of them, the power necessary to kill, even one of them, was astronomical, and there were 3 of them, so we agreed to search for help from humans. We went to the EN, and found a man in a certain clan. He was extremely powerful swordsman, unlike any I have ever seen, before or after. But as good a swordsman he was even better at Fuinjutsu. To this day, there has never been anyone even close to his level in Fuinjutsu. Even that sage of the 6 paths wasn't as good in Fuinjutsu, and this guy was almost as powerful as the sage, with just swordsmanship, oppressive levels of chakra and his knowledge of Fuinjutsu. Bahamut and I personally went and talked to him, and explained the situation. He agreed to help, but he has something he wanted in return. Bahamut wasn't happy that a mere human was pretty much blackmailing a dragon, but he went with it. The human's name was Shanks, and the clan he was from was the Uzumaki clan. Naruto could have already guessed that much. What he wanted in return for helping us was to allow his clan to have a summoning contract with the Dragon Clan. That was about 700 years ago, and back then not many had a summoning contract. We dragons weren't even a summoning animals, but there was a way for us to create a contract and allow the Uzumaki clan members to sign it. Of course, Bahamut was against it as he didn't want to serve the humans, and he thought that we are above it, as a higher beings. I wasn't happy with the request, but I knew that without the Uzumaki clan's help and their knowledge in Fuinjutsu, we stand no chance. So, reluctantly, I agreed. Shanks then went and created a special sealing jutsu, which would work on us dragons, as normal sealing jutsu wouldn't work on us, unlike on the tailed beasts and some other beasts that lived in the EN. We dragons weren't beasts of chakra, so we can't be sealed inside humans, or pots, like the tailed beasts. Shanks knew this, so he created a specific seal, which would seal the 3 dragons inside of a barrier, in which they would be instantly put to sleep and in a stasis. The barrier would sustain its power by sucking the power from the dragons trapped inside, so there was no way for them to ever free themselves on their own. Of course, nothing is perfect, and we knew even back then that the barrier can be breached from the outside. While the 3 dragons can't free themselves, someone from the outside could unseal them. Naruto understood where this is going, and said, "Let me guess. Bahamut had a change of mind and decided to unseal them and then join them in taking us out." Precisely, the Great Red confirmed and sighed. "You have no idea what it took to just seal them. We simply didn't have the power to kill them, but to seal them, we had to weaken them, and subdued them long enough for Shanks to seal them away. Many of dragon kind have died in that battle. A lot of the N have been destroyed, and the current shape of the N is because of that battle. Originally, it had a different shape. But in the end, we won. They were sealed away, and I became the leader of the Dragon Clan, much to Bahamut's anger, but he couldn't do anything about it. I created a summoning contract for the Dragon Clan and gave it to Shanks, who was the first signer. The contract was passed down through his family, until you found it. And before you ask, yes. Shanks was a royal Uzumaki and you are his direct descendant, though his son, just like he was a direct descendant of Asura Otsutsuki, the younger son of the Sage of the Six Paths. Since then we have, for the most part, lived in harmony with each other, and with the Uzumaki clan. Bahamut was always a pain in the ass though, but he didn't do anything for a long time, until one day he didn't snap and just up and left, along with those who followed him. Why don't we just dispose of Bahamut right now, before he can unseal them? Naruto asked. I think I would have known by now, if they were unsealed already, so that means that they are still behind the barrier. It's already too late. The Great Red shook his head. Bahamut has already made a dent on the barrier, and now there is no way to repair it. It will take a few days, but the barrier will be broken completely, and then the dragons from inside will bring hell on earth. The biggest issue is that, once they are out, there is no way to seal them back again, even if we subdue them again. I can't perform the Fuinjutsu to seal them away, as I don't know it. I don't even know if there are any records left of the barrier, or has Shanks destroyed it, thinking that the dragons would never come out from the barrier, so the knowledge on how to create it is unnecessary. We could just kill them, Naruto said. You know that I'm quite a bit more powerful than you, so we should be able to kill them this time, and not seal them away. The Great Red shook his head. I doubt we could do that, he said. You are about 10 to 15% stronger than me, and about 20% stronger than Bahamut, but those three they are about 15% stronger than you. Even if you could kill one of them, by some miracle, there is no way you can kill all three, and the rest of us can't take on them, along with Bahamut and his allies. Well, Naruto sighed. That's quite bothersome, isn't it? It sure is, the Great Red confirmed. We will need a miracle to get out of this alive and with as little casualties as possible. Naruto thought about it for a while, and in the end, he sighed. I'll speak with my friends and family, and see what we can come up with, Naruto said, getting a nod from the Great Red. You get yourself and the other dragons ready for a battle as well. This will be a total war, and who knows what might happen in the end. Naruto then turned around and walked away. Where are you going? The Great Red asked, once he saw Naruto walking toward the edge of the mountain. Why did you even come here to begin with? You couldn't have known that I need to speak with you. I need to speak with someone, Naruto said, not stopping or turning around. And that someone is on Mount Myoboku. XXX. Naruto flew down from the mount. Look out to one of the lower level mountains, which are located in the land of summoning animals. That mount is Mount Myoboku, and is a home to the Toad clan. Naruto has guessed that Jiraiya is most likely here, as he hasn't been seen or heard ever since his battle against the Akatsuki in the Rain Village, weeks ago. Naruto wanted to speak with Jiraiya, and all this time he was sure that Jiraiya will try and come to the new whirlpool, since he has heard of the Uzumaki clan rising again, but he never came, and so Naruto decided to come to him. From high up in the air, Naruto looked at the vast lands of the summoning animals. He looked at the different regions of the island, as each part of the island is inhabited by a different summoning clan, and as such, they look differently. The place he was currently going is a lush mountain with a lot of green and water. There are tall plants all over the place, with a lot of bugs flying all over it. The lakes and rivers are taking even more space than the land and plants, but that's normal, seeing that the toads are living in this place. Personally, Naruto preferred the Mount Lookout, as it's much better, well, in his opinion anyway. It's vaster and there are a hell of lot less bugs flying around the tallest mountain in the summoning lands, which is a plus in his book. The fact that dragons can actually put up a fight against him in a sparing matches, unlike the toads or any other summoning animals, makes Mount Lookout even better. Once he came down to the ground, Naruto looked around to see if there is any toad nearby and ask it where he can find Jiraiya. Unfortunately for him, there were no toads nearby, so he had to do the searching. Naruto walked around the tall plants looking at the place in interest, as it's a new place to him, and he always found new things to be interesting, regardless in which world he was, or what life he had. After about 10 minutes of searching, Naruto came to a place with tall pikes coming out of the ground, and on top of one of those pikes is Jiraiya, seating on a plate, which is placed on the tip of the pike and balancing it perfectly. Naruto wondered what Jiraiya was doing, and had to hand it to the man, as what Jiraiya was doing can't be easy. Naruto then looked around and noticed that there are two small, elder toads seating nearby and observing Jiraiya, while munching on some bugs. Naruto grimaced at the sight. Damn, I've eaten tens of thousands of hollows and human souls, and I still find this disgusting. Naruto muttered to himself. Naruto waited for a few moments, to see if Jiraiya or any of the toads would notice him, but seeing that they are not likely to do it, he revealed his presence. Naruto coughed, and asked, "Am I interrupting something?" The two toads instantly turned toward where the voice came from, and looked at the person standing there. Jiraiya also opened his eyes when he heard an unknown voice, and once he saw another human standing there, he lost his balance and came crushing down from the pike, and into the ground. Naruto just stood there and watched in amusement, as Jiraiya fall down and hurt himself while the two toads went over each other trying to figure out what's going on and how a human had come to Mount Myoboku. Who are you? The green toad, clearly male, judging by the looks and the voice, asked Naruto. How did you get here? Naruto looked at him, and said, I came down from Mount Lookout. The eyes of the toads flew wide open, while Jiraiya started coughing like crazy, as he knew who lives on Mount Lookout. Are you a D-dragon? The female toad asked. No, Naruto said. I'm not. I'm just their summoner. The two toads relaxed slightly, while Jiraiya finally took a good look at Naruto and recognized him not as Naruto, but as a guy who has become famous across the EN, as an S-rank ninja, in the last few years. Jiraiya really wanted to know what this guy is doing there, and he knew that the toads wanted to know as well, but he had to ask first. How did you approach us without us noticing? Jiraiya asked. There is no way you should have been able to sneak here, with my Sage mode activated. I should have been able to sense you. Naruto shook his head, and wore a smile on his face, though deep down he was annoyed by how many times he had to explain this. My power is transcendent, Naruto said, but then he saw a confused looks on Jiraiya's and the toads' faces. He sighed. That means that no one can sense my power, unless I bring it down to their level of awareness. The three sets of eyes widened comically, as they looked at Naruto in disbelief. Naruto chuckled a little, and added, Yes, I'm that powerful. But never mind that. I'm here to speak with you, Jiraiya. Jiraiya wondered what this guy would want with him, but then he remembered that he is a summoner of the Dragon Clan, and only an Uzumaki can summon dragons. Then, Jiraiya remembered his talk with Sako, and about the Uzumaki clan being back. Jiraiya wondered if this guy is the one who brought back the Uzumaki clan, and is the new clan head. Are you the guy Sako works for? Jiraiya suddenly asked, drawing the eyes on himself. She said that she was adopted into an Uzumaki clan, and you are the summoner of the Dragon Clan, so that means that you are an Uzumaki. Does that mean that you have brought the Uzumaki clan back, just as I assumed back when I spoke with Sako? Naruto smiled. Come on Jiraiya, he spoke. Don't you recognize me? I mean, okay, we didn't spend a lot of time around each other, but you did teach me Rasengan, during that mission to get Tsunade back to the Leaf Village, so that she can become a Hokage. As soon as those words left Naruto's mouth, Jiraiya's eyes, along with the eyes of the two old toads, widened astronomically, before they all passed out, much to Naruto's amusement as he had a wide grin on his face. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.